Hello there. How are we? Spare me a wee second here. Let's see what I need. Right, how we are doing, folks? Where am I? How do I start here? What have I wrote? Song Eternity, we'll get to that a bit later. Some people are asking me about homeschooling. I'm going to start on that channel this week. So, anyway, how are we all? Tracy Story, A Tasty Wheat, Emerald Rider, Phil Jones, Fancy Man, Tom Gauthier, Cold Steel Truth Pandemonium, Gavin Fly, Harry Hepworth, High Level Awakening, TP in a Tree, Levoy, Flat Earth Female, how you doing? Aaron Bronskevich, Boris Chops, how you do? Beyond Belief, how's it going? Ingested Red, Andrew Calvert, Stephen Watson, Chris Hayes, Brent Humphreys, Andy Baldwick, how's it going? Havoc, Paul E, Bates, Phil Jones, Fishaholic, Tony T, you're shy. So am I, believe it or not. It's easy to do this because I just don't know that all you people are there. It's just me in the shed with a lot of plastic. Sometimes plastic's a better conversation. In the vast majority. Party Pack, how you doing? Stuart Lundy, how's it going? Station McLean, Callum Jackson, Joanne Carlos, Scott Richardson, Ute, Martin Healy, Harry Hepworth, Travelling Commando. Hello everybody. So, where am I going to start here? A couple of wee things. Well, obviously for anybody that's going to come across this, if you're new, you know, this is an investigation into the objective reality that we share. There's various things that you need to consider and that you have to understand in regards to the topic of discussion or the focus of your curiosity, if you like. We are people, well, I'm talking only for myself here. I am a person who, about 5 years ago, questioned the validity of an assumption that I'd held to be true the majority of my life. Not that I held on to it dearly or with any real meaning, but I assumed to be true that what was professed to me about a globular earth was where I actually lived. Now, when I applied some logic and some honesty and discernment to that assumption and belief that I held to be true, after some investigation it fell apart and I could no longer justify maintaining that belief, or whatever word you want to use, belief, ignorance in regards to the world I was living in or upon. So, you know, there's some various things that you need to get a grip of. You know, first and foremost, this whole notion of science being an entity out with yourself that belongs in the realms of some institution, supported and propped up by priestly figures of a hierarchical structure. That's not what science is about. There's avenues of expertise that many people go down. When we're talking about the world that we all share, every single one of us as the scientist, you have the same faculty that I have, and the standard that I go by is practical reference. The scientific method is a whole other thing when we're talking about cause and effect relationship. For me, as a human being, I look for practicality. That means tangible substance in 3 dimensions that can be played with, quantified in 3 dimensions, moved around in 3 dimensions, and understood. So any claim that any human being is making, that's exactly where I go to. So for instance, you know, we take the heliocentric globe cosmology. They will assert that we exist in a medium that is a vacuum and that we live on a pressurized gaseous environment, a potato rock within the medium that is a vacuum, and there is no separation membrane between the two systems. Now, instantly, I go straight to my reality. I look for practical reference of the possibility that that could be true. What you find is, under the standard that I've just stated to you, that it's a total absurdity. You would have to be seriously dishonest with yourself. You'd have to have something wired incorrectly for you to maintain and keep postulating to me that that is indeed a reality, or even remotely possible as a reality. So that's what I'm talking about when I say practical reference. When I hear these claims, I go straight to the substance, I go straight to my reality, and I see what practical reference tells me in regards to claims that human beings are making. This globular earth is an institution, it's an industry, it's a business. It perpetuates money and sustains groups of people. Not only that, but it puts a psychological constraint upon you as the individual. It disarms you, it disorientates you, it puts you in a position of bewilderment. Because if you're like me, you've tried to form a tapestry through your whole life of an understanding of your existence and what you're a part of. So if you're blinded from the off of the very foundations that you call your reality, and you try and, continually, although you're living life, you're still taking note, you're still building a tapestry and understanding a picture of your existence and trying to make sense of it. If that is faulty in the foundational level, nothing's going to ever make sense to you. It's going to be perpetual bewilderment, psychological disempowerment. Not only that, if you have that on board, you have the assumption through ignorance that everything has been discovered by human beings that existed before you, and you will tend never to wander into the curiosity realms of questioning the reality, how far it extends, what may be beyond it, and what the actual physicality and how things function within this realm that we call three-dimensional reality. So, it is a few uses, this globe earth thing. I consider it to be a cult. It is the very definition of a cult. Takes children from a young age and bombards them using NLP tactics, sophistry, intimidation to instill that belief so that the child has it on board firmly at a young age and never really questions it. That's very evident for, if anybody has taken note of the street interviews that I partake in, particularly at the universities. These are people who are on their high horse, who think they know and understand reality according to what they've been taught. Then you start to question their reasoning, the reasoning processes for why they hold these things to be true. And then you establish very quickly that these people do not have a clue about what they're actually talking about or why they believe what they believe. The globular earth is not a tangible three-dimensional object that can be quantified. You do not experience a curving earth. You experience a level earth. The geometric assumptions and applications that we utilise and use in all walks of life, different industries, assumes that we live on a level plane. So, it is only a cult. It's a concept based on vision. It was a useful tool in regards to navigation. Because it works as a navigational tool does not define the earth as a spherical surface. Okay? So again, going back to what I applied in regards to claims that are being made, everybody's heard it. The earth's a globe. Bending oceans, bending rivers, bending lakes. Straight away, go to the substance. Never mind YouTube's gurus, appeals to consensus or an authoritative figure. Utilise your own tools that you have the same as I do. Go and test the substance for yourself, and you come back and tell me that you can still maintain a belief that you're standing at the ocean and it's bending away from you, and the surface of the body of water is bending and displaying the bend upon its surface. It's an absolute insult. Only way that you've believed that is by getting you when you were young and instilling it in you and rewarding you for repeating it and regurgitating it. Coupled with that, They've created a branch of Disney World where they profess to you through the TV screen that they're going to this non-existent, idiotic, physics, nature-defying position of the vacuum of space, that they have the vantage point to see the Earth as a globe. Again, what you have to get is your faculties in order. Images through your TV screen are no first and foremost. First and foremost is your direct experience of reality. If you don't get that sorted out, you're going to be confused. You're going to be swayed. You're going to have an emotional and psychological trauma and episode. Right? Reality first, TV second. Reality was here before TV was invented, or discovered, I should say. Okay? This thing has been utilised through the military as a tool to keep tabs on you and to keep you where they want you to be. The globular earth plays a huge role in that. Because for whatever reason, we could theorise, we can have a discussion about it, but there is a hefty push to stop you from questioning the room that you exist in. You can play with the toys all day long. The ideas, the concepts, the trinkets, the structures, the ancient stories, this, that and the other, but never question the room. You need to ask yourself why that is. We could go into the realms of because it's a necessity, because the psychological reaction to the true reality of our existence may not be everybody's taste. Or it could be because there's a bunch of greedy bastards that want to maintain the upper hand and have, dominance. So they may be hiding the fact that there's other areas of other life. Who knows? It's anybody's guess. What I know for a fact is that I do not live on the exterior of a conceptual sphere. That is a total lunacy, an insult, an absurdity. If you pay attention and you utilise what I'm saying, your own discernment and the own faculties that you have, the same as any other human being, that are no different from you, you will establish it. What you have to have is honesty though. If you're a person who has a bias, a wee bit unhinged, insecure and needy, you're probably going to try and cling to it and look for anything that reaffirms your bias. What you have to understand is that there has to be a separation between purely visible phenomena with tangibility, and the tangible. The heliocentric globe cult model focuses purely on visible phenomena. It omits, leaves out, ignores how the function of the eye works, what perspective actually is, what's going on with our spherical, oblate sphere balls in our skull, and wants to just keep making assertions based purely on visible phenomena. So anyway, there's no claims to cartoon maps and models here. We don't know what the full dimensions are. That has to be explored. We need the human populace aware and awake to this, with curious, inquisitive minds. The more people that come on board, the more we will discover. It's not up to one individual, and be very careful of that. We're not here to carry forward the same mindset of idol worship and hierarchy and all that crap. I'm talking anarchy. The true definition of anarchy. And every single one of you has to be standing as a true anarchist. As I say, the more people that become involved in this, the quicker and the more we can establish and find out. That's been my goal. It's my understanding from the very beginning that the only way to resolve this is to have the exploration. There is areas that are restricted that you and I cannot freely explore and travel. Again, you have to ask the questions of why that is. And have a no-nonsense, fuck you attitude towards any human being that tries to stand in the way of that. We've been born into this idiotic cult of hierarchy. Groups of fucking human beings trying to dictate to other human beings how they should live life, what life is, what's expected of you, what's normal, what's no normal, what's tolerable, what's no tolerable. It's all ideas. Nobody has the right to have the rule over you or anybody else. That only happens when you bend over and you consent and allow it to happen. It's no life. This is no it's just life. It's not just life. Because nobody fucking knows what life actually is. Where we are, the purpose of our being, how it came to be, the history before it. Nobody fucking knows. So when you hear these morons saying, this is life, this is what life's about. They're just wee cult members. Born into the cult, taking everything that the cult had to offer. And it's affirmed in them that that's just life because they don't know anything else. They've never contemplated beyond the surface. The bullshit that's been told to us, the crappy idiotic systems that we've instilled and that we partake in are fucking mundane and boring. This is it. This is a great life. Oh, it's a gift of life. It's a magical, amazing thing, but I need to go to work in the morning and I need to send the weans to school and How about investigating the magical kingdom, the mystery that is life, and ignoring the wee distractive, idiotic notions and ideas of what you should be up to? I find it hugely intriguing when I hear people saying, what does it matter? What does it matter which shape the earth is in? They're just not thinking about it. Because we're going from a finite little potato rock with no way off and nowhere to go to the possibility that there's more to discover. There's a deeper understanding to be had in regards to our existence. I don't know anything else that could trump that. But hey ho, each to their own. So anyway, I have waffled enough on that aspect. Again, always open to it. Anybody that wants to have a discussion with me about this topic of the Earth's dimensions, by all means, get in touch with me. I've been actively asking for 5 years now. The only thing I get is zealots, little cult disciples, out to try and maintain the concept. Because again, you've got to understand, there's a lot invested in it. Loads of people are benefiting out of it. Money to be made, control to be had. So the wee cults in a panic. But I'm not interested in cult disciples. If you are an honest, an intellectually honest person who has an inquisitive mind in regards to the objectivity of our existence, by all means, I'm open to that discussion. You come in to me with antagonistic, subjective, bullshit, I've got a very small fuse. I shall project the angry, fuck you, contempt. Because I'm not interested in it. Did anybody hear about this? I had the radio on in the car yesterday or the day, and I heard about this guy who apparently got ate by a shark. And where was it? Reunion Island shark attack. A Scottish tourist is believed to have been attacked and eaten by a shark after authorities on the island of Reunion found his severed hand inside the creature. Stroke of luck that, is it not? What's the chances of you actually pinning down this shark? How would you know that this shark had munched him? And how would you know which one it was? Has been named locally as Edinburgh man Richard Martin Turner. 44-year-old tourist who was on holiday with his wife Verity was snorkelling alone when he vanished in a lagoon where 4 sharks were later caught. Mr. Turner's hand was discovered with the wedding ring still on his finger, inside the body of a tiger shark. So they were there on holiday for a 40th birthday or whatever. Now, this was a bit wondered about, so I'm just going to put it out there. Mr. Turner worked for Registers of Scotland. Registers of Scotland. The non-ministerial department of the Scottish Government responsible for compiling and maintaining records relating to property and other legal documents. An important element about any system of land tenure is evidence. evidence to support the claim of the person entitled to the land. In the early days of the feudal system, this evidence was provided by the ceremony on the ground of giving sassin, from the Old French to seize. The ceremony performed when a feudal grant of land was made. So, I found that the bit, you know, again, you hear these things, you wouldn't really think anything of it, but when they start saying this guy get hit with sharks, apparently, and then they tell you, oh, we found the guy's hand in the shark, I get a wee bit suspicious of that shite. So anyhow, check it out. What else have I got here? Dan, Crazy Polish Man, came to visit me today. He was telling me that in one of his previous streams he had a guy that was professing to be a physicist. And this physicist guy was talking to Dan about an observation that me and Dan have done a couple of times now. Ailsa Rock, 40 miles away from the RNLI building in Largs. I'll show you a wee bit in a minute. Now this is just to show people the lunacy of these cretins. So let me just see here. How is that make this full again? In fact, if I do that, is that going to make it a bit better? Hopefully it is. So, what this cretin is saying, again, this is the part of the sophistry. If you notice here, you know, when we're talking about the observer is always looking straight out. You're not looking down here at the horizon. Nobody looks down at the horizon. But this cretin's trying to say that because the image, the footage that we've captured a couple of times now is that you can see the reflection of the rock on the water underneath it. Now this cretin is trying to say that the reflection's actually being projected to the kind of midway point between you and it. So something like 20 miles along, you know, from the rock, you're seeing its reflection on the water. Now again, I want to point this out to people. I'm going to come away for this a wee second. Hold on. I'm sick of this bullshit. I don't know why these clowns just aren't getting it. See, the whiteboard, the magical stuff. Scientist extraordinaire. I come equipped. Let me see here. So I need to do it this way, so you can all fucking see it and there's no greeting. Right. So, this pish, when we're looking at the earth, they do this shite. Right? And they put a wee guy here. And they do this, where you're looking down the way. You don't look down the way. You look straight out in front of you. Right? You don't have a hump. If you had a hump like that between you and an object, then you're not living on a globe either. You're living on something that's like fucking this. That's what you'd have to be living on. Right? A fucking flower petal. These people are absolute crackpots, honestly. You don't have things humping up in front of you when you're on a sphere. That's not how it works on a sphere. Right? It slopes downwards. Again, I'm having to repeat this to people. Go and identify a slope. Right? Now look straight. And you tell me if any aspect of that slope rises into the field of view straight out in front of you. It doesn't. And as you look down the slope, it doesn't mound up in front of you. Once it gets to a certain point, yes, it will be obscured. But it doesn't hump up in front of you. You're not standing in a dimple. Okay? That's pish as well. Oh, here's the horizon. Oh, my pen's running out. Here's the horizon, and there's the sun. Here's the sun going down. The sun's going down the way. Setting sun's going down. Alright. So we've got a sun that's going down, right? So here we go, we've got a fucking pen. So there we go, we've got a wee man standing on here, watching the sun. The sun's here. Right, so that you're only going to see that much yet, right, apparently. Well, the curve somehow ramps up straight out in front to obscure the fucking thing, right? Now, if this wee man was actually to start elevating up to about here, right, you'd be fucking looking down at the sun. That's not what happens in reality. What happens on a level plane, an even surface, is that when you elevate up, you have a wider angle of view so you can see further. So it's dead simple. If they're going to tell you that the sun's going down over the curve of the earth, you elevate up and show that you're looking down through across the slope of the earth to the sun out in space. You're looking down at it. Show me anybody that's ever looking down at the sun. It's an absolute insult again. These things are just that fucking stupid. I don't even know why I have to point it out. Is there really disciples, zealots that are that enamoured with the stupidity that they can't see the simplicity of these things? The sun's no disappearing down behind bendy bodies of water. What's going on with the straight out observations is a property of vision. It's about angles and how light gets to the eye. So as things reach that 0 point, where is the fucking thing? So your 0 point's here. This is your 0 point, the centre of your eye. As the angles come down and they converge into here, we've got an issue with light. Okay? Things become obscured here. Because remember, we'll take this as the sky and this is the earth. You're down here in this portion here. Okay? So you're closer to the ground. So there's less angle for the light to get to your eye. So things obscure from the bottom. They start to get fuzzy. You're no sitting here in the middle, equally between the sky and the earth, so that things dissipate evenly all around any object. No, you're down here at the surface. Sick and tired of this globe crap. It's total cack. Every aspect of it is total absurd. Right? And people are enamoured by it and try to defend it with language and sophistry and illogical jargon because they've seen it on the telly. They just can't get into their mind how these people would be lying. I'm afraid to tell you that governments lie. Human beings lie. Look at the sacks of shit that NASA have right now. They are sacks of shit. They're no athletes. They couldn't do a press up or a sit up. They're all pie eaters. They're all sociopaths, narcissists, probably psychopaths, desperate for any sort of relevance. Failed actors. Look at them. And you're going to believe that pile of shite over your own experience of direct reality. There's something not right with you. But yet we see endless amounts of hit piece videos made about people like myself, calling me crazy because I accept reality. The absurd claim is that you're living on a sphere, because there's nothing that you can point to in your reality that would suggest that's possible, even minutely. The globular earth is the absurd claim. Oh, that was the other thing. was Meryl sent me that. Same with this, Meryl sent me this as well. Just to give you an idea of light, and we're talking about mediums and the density of the medium and how things function. Just to make the point quick here.
Let's start first by looking at the bottom of the pool. It's quite clear. We can even see the lines between the tiles. As we look toward the side and up, it's still clear. And here are the feet of our swimmer dangling in the water.
Now look what happens as the angle is reduced as we start to come to the 0 point, okay?
But look, as we move away, funny things happen. The body separates from the feet and gradually floats up and out of our field of view. In its place, we see a pair of reflected feet that we were not able to see before.
Oh, but it's not the reflections actually in the middle of the pool, halfway between the object and you or something. So here we can see this is the second time that me and Dan went. This is from 40 miles away. You know, in this one, as we move along, you can see the defined shape. When we're looking from this angle, there's a point I also wrote where it comes to a kind of ledge and it comes straight down. But what you can notice here is we've got a reflection of the rock on the water beneath it. 40 miles. Now you've got cretons like this guy trying to say that that reflection is actually halfway between the rock and us. So it's like 20 miles, but the rock's 40 miles away. This is what I'm talking about these people. The mental gymnastics, the dishonesty of these idiots. Here you can see the straight edge that I was talking about. And you can see the reflection. Oops, don't know what's happened here. What's going on? Something's wrong. Just this. Still running. An error occurred. Oh dear. What's that about?
Yeah.
So, anywho, no only that is, I mean, people here have seen other observations. I've seen Wakey's wee interview with the astrophysicist, which is worth a watch for anybody that's interested. Again, these people showing their blatant dishonesty and disregard for, you know, the objective reality, because it doesn't fit their wee paradigm, their wee idiotic notion. So in that, you know, again, as I was saying here, you know, people that have witnessed this, it's in one of the previous videos, I'm going to get it, I'll speak to Andrew. We've had instance here of Andrew in New Zealand, Meryl in Australia, I'm here in the west coast of the UK, the sun's in my sky, I can see the fucking thing, and they can see it at the same time. As Wakey was pointing out to his discussion with the astrophysicist, it's the same with the moon. The moon could be seen at two different places where on a globular earth it's impossible for that to happen. So again, at this point, people should be realising that there's something seriously wrong here. This globular earth thing is totally ridiculous. What else have I got here? Right. So this is the point I've been trying to make to the globular people for all these years. They omit vision. They fail to account for what is actually going on in regards to human perspective. Right? That's the only thing they've got. If you look at it, it's wee stories of 2,000 years ago, a guy with sticks. Or the sun, the moon, the stars, red herring nonsense, irrelevancies to the dimensions of the earth. What's up there does not define what we are standing upon. So they've got wee stories and narratives. Then they come to visible phenomena, and it's always straight out observations. Again, I've made the point so many times. Never mind straight out, we've got a limitation to the angle. Just where I was there at Largs, if you go along the road a wee bit on the west coast of Scotland here, you can identify a landmass. On your left, as you're looking at it, you'll have Stranraer, and on here, I think the Isle of Arran. Between them, we have Ailsa Rock. Okay? You have a horizon line connecting the whole shebang. Between the two is about 27 miles. Now, if you do that into the curve calculator of the spherical jobby, it'll tell you that it's about 350 feet of deviation. So, if you took your starting point from here, what you should find is that there's a deviation in the elevation of the horizontal line from there to there of 350 feet. So, really, you should be seeing some sort of drop from one point to the other point. Okay? But in reality, that's not there. So I'm sick and tired of this globular earth pish flaps. It's idiotic. Right. We've seen nothing but mental gymnastics for these people for the last 5 years. It's about time they fucking grow up now. As I said before, and I've been saying ever since, it's not going to go away. You can keep repeating and regurgitating pseudoscience, sophistry, red herring fallacies, appeals to fucking illogical jargon, all you like. It's not going to change the fact that me as an individual man that's committed to his own discernment is not accepting your bullshit. It's an extraordinary claim that's being put to me in regards to being on a globe. Extraordinary. To the point of absurdity. So don't blame me for not accepting your concept. It's a symbol of a hypnotic state. The shite that human beings are partaking in and putting up with are rooted in this foundation. As I said before, for me it's not supposed to be a mystery. There's work being done to make our experience of life a mystery, to make it bewildering and confusing. It's not supposed to be. I've seen the infrared stuff. Jay Tolan, media, a guy who's done infrared, observations, visible stuff. We know we can see too far. But again, you have to be careful when you're entering into the realms of just visibles and what's being accounted for. That's why I say, for me, first and foremost, people have to understand substance. Like looking over bodies of water. First and foremost, you understand the substance that you're viewing over, its behaviour, its characteristics. That's the foundation you start from before you jump into the realms of visibility. When you go to a standing body of water and it's not flowing away, you know that it must be contained. You know that it's level, which means equal in elevation at any given point from your starting point of reference. That's what level means in reality. Any layman, any builder, any person that's involved in any trade knows that to be factually correct. That's what level means. So when you go to a standing body of water and you know it's not flowing away, you know it's contained and it's level. So you start there before you go looking with your eyeballs and making all sorts of assertions. How who's this beyond the imaginary curve? Somebody, see, this is the shit we've got to put up with. This is these fucking morons mimicking people. So you've got to be aware of this. And I'm being, censored everywhere I go. I put comments, places, I go back, they're not there. So this clown here beyond the imaginary curve in the chat box is not me, obviously. So, what do we do here? Hide user on channel. Report. So it doesn't give you the option of mimicry. So what have we got? This clown will be going about fucking doing all sorts. All I can do is hide him on the channel. It's a difference. You're being censored for being a dishonest little fucking creepy cult zealot. This is not a game of personalities. This is not a game of arguments. Right? This is a game of what's your claim and where's your practical reference? End of story. Now there's no mods on the channel. So that's another aspect that was being utilised and used. You know, that people are making associations and claiming all sorts about me and my persons. It's the same again the other night. I video recorded this. I went to a chat box, wee guy Jamie Brown, vegan realist, just to make a point. And I recorded the whole process. Now, the activity and the viewers on that channel were minimal, run about 10. As soon as I started putting a comment in the chat box, bang, there was an influx of about at least 15 new accounts and posting all sorts of shite in the chat box. I sat back and recorded it, showing that it's not me. But they're playing all these idiotic little games because this is what they're about. They know that the majority of people are invested in persons. So they play games of attacking persons, character assassination, propaganda, because they know that's what influences people. What I'm trying to say is that regardless of who I am, who you think I am, who you want me to be, these things are totally irrelevant. This is about information. That's what this game's about. Seeing the tactics of these people is fucking boring. If you can't see through that stuff now, again, there's something wrong with you. It's an objective inquiry, no a popularity contest, no celebrity idol worship. I could not give a fuck how many cocks, fannies, tits, who you're shagging, what colour your skin is. I do not give a shit about any of it. I will listen to the information that's been offered to me and then I will discern the information. I don't go, oh, I like him. I likes him. I can relate to him. Therefore, everything he says or she says is the Gospels. That's where people are being played. You call in, you send me an email. If I don't get any emails, I'll post a link directly into the chat box. So, getting back to a wee bit of what I was talking about last week, the soul and eternity. So I was having some thoughts on this, as I always do. And people have heard me saying this before. Look, I'll use the whiteboard because it's scientific. When we're talking about philosophies, ideas of our existence in its entirety, when we start invoking finite stuff, right? Finite meaning a beginning and an end. So it can be defined, right, as a point-to-point reference, okay? So when we're talking about us and our life, yes, you are born, you die. So there is a finite aspect to your experience, but encompassing it you, your experiences, the world you live in, material reality, it breaks down when we start to invoke finite. So we'll take reality, the universe, whatever you want to imagine, as finite. Beginning point that's going to come to an end. Well, finite notions have an issue because finite beginnings and ends have to take place somewhere. Oh, so the somewhere's a whiteboard. Alright, but that somewhere, the whiteboard, now has to be somewhere. Now that somewhere has to be somewhere. Now that somewhere has to be somewhere. To infinity. So what we're looking at, material reality, is some sort of pod that's isolated within eternity, the eternal, the infinite, and it's this that gives rise to this. It's this that gave rise to this pod of separation, of finite existence that permeates it in every way and gives rise to every aspect to it. That for me is the only viable option. Finite notions are idiotic. So we then move on to talk about the soul. If we invoke or postulate that we have a soul. And the reason I'm talking about this is because people want there to be more after this. They don't want to, envision that death is it, it's the end, it's blackness, it's over. So people talk about, we go on. So then I start to, have these discussions with people and try and break down what that could possibly mean. Because I was pointing at last week, this infinity, the eternal, the infinite, it gives rise to all. You can't add anything new to it, you can't take anything away from it. Okay? So what you experience in here is only a possibility that was given the possibility by the prime mover, the eternal, the infinite. You're not making anything new, you're only making discoveries of possibility. So, if you're a soul, what do you envision? Because people will say things like, well, when I came here I don't have any memory of where I was before. But when we talk about memory, we're talking about human experience. When people talk about memory as in when you move on from here, do you think you're going to maintain a memory? Would you want to maintain a memory? What does that invoke? What does that actually mean? What it says to me is that it's insecurity. It's an insecure need to clutch at certainty. So you leave here, you move on to the next realm, but you've got this memory of that realm, so you can build a tapestry of what? Again, you think you're going to get a picture of the whole, the entirety of eternity, the infinite? So you want to build wee memories of every experience you're ever going to have, so you can try and build some sort of tapestry that you're never going to get to the end of. This is what I'm talking about with people, in this situation, projecting their insecurities when they're talking about ideas of their existence and the enormity of it. You're not going to define the infinite and the eternal. No amount of memory is ever going to allow you to know the full extent of what you're a part of. Because if this was it, and this was the full extent, look, it's finite. It has an edge to it, has a geometry to it. What are you going to do with that? Oh no, I know the entirety of eternity and the infinite. No what? It's no use to you. If you're an eternal soul, an explorer, an experiencer, you're just going to move to any given point, experiencing what you experience, and none of it has got any meaning in relation to any other part of it. But what's happening is in this wee pod of bewilderment and confusion and fear is people are trying to find meaning that transcends into this other realm, this other region, and that they're going to carry it on like a wee tapestry and sew it all together so that they can have certainty. Why do you need that? You need to understand it's a psychological insecurity brought about by what you've experienced here. It's a schism. If you're part of the infinite and eternal and you're an eternal soul, what the fuck do you need a memory for? What use is it to you? Do you get me? Maybe I'm not making it clear. Let's have some discussions about it, shall we? See, this is it. Again, this is these people with their finite stories, their books, their religions, their ideologies. That this experience is again, look, if we're talking about the infinite, the eternal, and I know I'm doing it as like a geometry, I mean, it's like there's no boundary to it. It doesn't end. Right? You think in here, my wee book, tells me I have to behave like this because it transcends and somehow changes some aspect of this eternal fucking finite, infinite place. Because you said 15 Hail Marys a fucking all praise Allah or whatever the fuck it is it's going on in your insecure, idiotic, stupid mind. Do you really think this, the entirety of eternity and the infinite, wants to put you in a wee bubble here so that you don't have wanks and say Hail Marys and all that rubbish? You're just a wandering explorer who happens to be in here having a wee experience like a show at the fucking roller coaster. Doesn't mean anything. It's just tech, it's just technology. It's just a wee ride. And then I go back and I go to the next one. You get fucking idiots in here going, hey, but my consciousness and I want to expand it so that when I leave here I can build a tapestry because I'm so insecure. And I feel the deep urge to cling to some certainty because I'm terrified of the enormity and the undefinability of my existence. And then what you want to do, this cunt here doesn't believe in my book, so I'm going to fucking batter the cunt until he believes me. I'm going to call him a fucking moron. You don't believe in my gods, man, visible fairy dust. That's idiotic and illogical. So therefore, I've got to take the huff with you. Not only that, I'm that fucking stupid to think this infinite eternal fucking being, they represent it. Huh? They've worked it out and they know that this infinite dude wants him to represent it and tell you how you should live your bloody life. How fucking pompous. Talk about Dunning-Kruger. Same as these fucking dipshits, as I mentioned last week. I'm at one with the universe. An undefined, unknown thing that I'm at one with. Mental illness. Perpetuated by New Age bollocks on tinterwebs. A clowns in robes with wee bells. Ting, 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 ting. I'm at one with the universe. And all that. Right, at one with the universe, eh? That's amazing. Can you make me one? Since you're at one with it and all that. No, you fucking well cannot. What the fuck are you talking about? More insecure, clinging and clutching for certainty? Another sign of the schism. I understand that it's a scary place. I understand that it's perceived that there's injustice. There's things that don't sit right with you. And you see horribleness. And people feel the need to try and rationalise it or find reason to it. To make them feel alright about it. Like it's going to be resolved because the God guy's going to put him in the burning fire or something. Maybe all these behaviours are signs of the foundation being wrong. And I've got an admirer. Oof. Why is this fucking dips? Why are you doing in here, prick sniffer? Who's making globe claims? Anywho, let me see here. If you want to chat to me about what I've been saying here, you can let me know. People think that I've not pondered these religious ideas. I've been doing it for years. As I've pointed out, it breaks down when you apply a bit of logic and a bit of reason to it. Right? These people believe in the infinite, the eternal, the prime mover. But they think that they're in here having a wee experience that's going to add or change some aspect to that. It's totally absurd. So we can talk about other things. What if your belief system, what if you hold a belief to be true, dictates where you move on to next if you're an eternal soul, a drifter, a wanderer, an explorer? You better be careful of that. You better be careful that you're not creating a wee bubble for you to wander into next. That's all your creation because you're holding idiotic beliefs. Be very careful of ideas and beliefs like that. Because they're powerful. Look at the state of the place. Look how easy it is to offer up an idea, a belief, and people cling to it. What if that carries on? I would be sceptical of every fucking thing. Make sure you're not holding beliefs, any bias, so that you have clarity, right? That's all I'm saying. Nice one, Andy Kaufman. Keep at him. Jack Cerrone wants to come in for a discussion. No worries, Jack Cerrone. I'll send you one right now. So I'm going to get back to some of these physics claims this week in regards to the globe model. Motion, direction, weight, how these things are attained and how they theorise and imagine these things to be, right? And again, just like before, I do not give a fuck about propagandists and where they say you can and can't go in regards to discussion. I'm going to be asking questions and pointing out the obvious, right? That's all. Not going to make an assertion or a claim to what's actually going on, but we'll try and break it apart and keep asking these questions because I don't fucking like it. As I said before, I like to pour salt in there and stick my finger in the wound and rub it in a wee bit. No, they're just making fucking troll accounts. If you click on it, you'll see that they don't have subscribers or anything. No content. But as I said before, it's more terrifying to me that you would try and maintain some memory or trying to get some grip on the enormity, the eternal, the infinite that we are a part of. If we are wandering explorers, that's you don't want a mechanism of memory like that because it's useless to you. I have imagined there's a warm, fuzzy, glowing place that I can go to. But it's just not enough. Hello?
Hello?
I have imagined there's a warm, fuzzy, glowing place that I can go to. Hello? You need to turn the watch page down, see if you're watching it on YouTube. You need to put the volume down on that. I have imagined there's a warm, fuzzy, glowing place that I can go to. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, have you turned down the YouTube thing?
Yes, I have.
Nice one.
Okay, hi Dil. Yeah, it's quite strange. I've been watching you for a couple of years. Cards on the table. I'm not a flat earth. I know you don't like labels. It's quite weird because, yeah, like I said, I've watched this for 2 years, so I sort of know all the things you like to hear and don't like to hear. Mm-hmm. So I'm not here to kind of convince you of anything, you know. Mm-hmm. I actually find it really intriguing that even though I don't believe the Earth is flat, and I've sort of heard all the arguments, that I still come and watch it, and I'm interested in the subject. But you know, I'm interested in, you know, cryptozoology or any other kind of sort of, you know, fringe conspiracy sort of discussion. So I mean,
do you consider objective inquiry fringe discussion?
No, no.
No, well, this isn't this. I'm no fringe. I'm no talking about hairy-fairy nonsense.
Sure.
I'm you know, inquiring into the claims that have been made by men about our objective reality. So
yeah, sorry, I know you are, Del, and you know, I've got nothing. You know, every Wednesday, Saturdays, I kind of watch, and you know, there's all, you know, PMARS and all of those like. It's just it turns into a bit of a circus, which, to be honest, is sometimes fun, but then sometimes it's like, oh, you know, this is, you know, what's going on here, sort of thing. And
yeah,
I'm not like that whatsoever. I just wanted a discussion. Whenever you're bored, you just, you know, I'll just shoot off. But Del, do you like? I mean, the thing is about this subject, right? You're either wrong or you're right, aren't you? Ultimately, there is no two ways about this, is there?
Well, that's it. You have to establish what kind of process would you utilise to find out if something is right or wrong. Yeah. That's why I say, practical reference. Understanding things in 3 dimensions and be able to quantify things that way is the only process I can see that's viable.
Sure. It's not like, oh, we're ever going to find out if there was anything in Area 51 or something like that. It's something like that, or the JFK stuff that's in the past. You can either, buy into all that stuff or you don't buy into it. But something like this, it's either technology is eventually going to reveal itself one way or the other, right? Whether or not we're not on a globe or we are on a globe. It's whether or not the people, one way or the other, are so invested in it one way or the other that they don't leave themselves with an out to, whether or not you can turn your whole self around to go, okay, I'm going to accept this, or vice versa. I'm not saying I'm right, you're right, nothing like that.
No, that's the problem. People start out with messiah complexes of the attitude of converting people. And it's not about that for me, if I'm trying to invoke a discussion with people, it's purely for that. The curiosity of the discussion and what their reasoning processes are, that's what I gather on. And that's pretty much it. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, sorry. Yeah. It's just I've got to hold my mic really close to me.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, if we found out the Earth was flat, I'd actually be more excited about it. I'd be like, wow, that's great, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of. I grew up a Catholic, but I'm certainly not that anymore. I don't have any beliefs now, I don't think.
Yeah.
And this is the thing where obviously you talk about, there's a lot of religious people, and they that's a big part of their bias. With me, it's not that. I just look at, what I'd hope is more realistic. I can't understand how a globe spins an Earth, and but of course the flat Earth way seems more logical in one sense. Mm-hmm. But
that's the problem.
Sorry.
No, sorry. I was just going to say that's the problem with this label of flat Earth. As I said, right now it's your experience that you're on a level plane. There's nothing in your experience that would even suggest that the Earth's curving, bodies of water are curving, or any of these things. So that's the extraordinary claim in regards to an individual, never mind the consensus or what's been established through the mainstream or the education system or any of that stuff. The reality of the situation is that you and I as human beings, right now as we stand, and if you're here with me, there's nothing that because this is going back to what you're saying, I don't have a bias, I don't have a preference. For the majority of my life, assumed it to be true. I had no bias or inclination to want it to be true or for it not to be true. It was just a process of discerning and saying, right, well, what adds up here? What can I demonstrate? What can I utilise to look at these claims and see how they stack up in regards to my direct experience? And that's it. It fell apart for me, and that's where I'm at. So.
No, I get that, Dale. But do you think that there's a point now where you can sort of go? Do you think you could even do a U-turn and go back?
Of course.
Or you're just too invested in it now?
No, there's nothing to be invested in. That's the people get it right. It's like, I don't have a product. I'm not monetized. I'm not offering any trinkets or any of that stuff. I'm just a guy expressing himself, my journey, and telling it exactly how it is. So, if it could be shown to me that it was a globe, fine. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It means nothing. 5 years at this compared to 36 years of believing it was a globe, and I reversed that, then it's no issue to me,
Okay, well, you know what? That's actually really good to hear because, it's really weird. Like I said, I watch you and I'm just like, you kind of, I don't know you obviously, but you kind of worry about, it's just like, what happened if it, if this just goes the other way. It's just like, is everything just, but yeah, as you said, if you can turn it around, it's, that's.
That's the thing about being a realist and going through the process I've came to. I've understood enough now that, it's impossible for it to be a globe. So, what could they possibly, there's no science, there's nothing quantifiable about it. It's just, sophist stories, red herrings about the sky, images on a screen. I mean, it's been 5 years. I've been active at the universities. I've been active here. I've been asking people to provide whatever it is they think they've got, and there's nothing. So I don't know. I mean, in regards to you're saying about technology or whatever being revealed, what could you possibly envision? Another picture on the TV?
Well, let's obviously, I know you've talked about it, Richard Branson, but eventually, let's just say, for argument's sake, it's a globe. They'll send people to space. You'd be able to go to, or maybe not in our lifetime. I'm a similar age to you. We might be too old, at 80 years old. We go in a space rocket and it sends us into orbit. That's potentially how it could physically. Okay, it's just like, okay, unless I'm under some kind of hypnotic trance, I buy it right now. But well, I understand all your points, though. I understand we're here and everything. Our understanding is what's told to us, and there's observation, this, that, and the other.
So that's, I mean, even in regards to flight, the geometric assumption that's utilised and applied to, calculating the angle of attack, approach, radar, keeping track of craft and whatever else. It's all done on Euclidean geometry. It's planar principles we're utilising. These things are working. They always have worked and they continue to work to this day. So I don't know how any of that's going to change because Richard Branson's professing he's going to take us to space, but it's going to be sometime in the future. I've been hearing these stories since I was young. But here's the thing, why wait to Richard Branson? Why can we know, because you probably find that there's sanctions and we're not allowed to, but let's make a rocket, let's equip the rocket with high-tech, cams and whatever else, and fire it vertically, no deviation from the vertical, straight up, for as far as we can get it to go, and see what happens there. That would be much more feasible and more interesting to me than waiting 15 or 20 years till Richard Branson decides, because I don't think that's ever going to happen, because again, physics, actual reality, vacuum of space adjacent to your pressurised environment with no solid separation, it's a lunacy. It's totally absurd, So
their argument would be they do that already. For some reason, it does tend to cut at a funny point. Why can't you just carry on with that journey? Why does it need to cut to all of a sudden International Space Station? And all of these stuff, I understand. I buy into it. Why isn't there a 360 of space, yada yada? The counter argument could be, okay, well, the technology's moved far enough along that now they've given us a 360 view, and it's all, they've all created it. It's all CG. Mm-hmm. They can do that now.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. I don't care what happens on the TV screen. That's no reality. Reality is what I can demonstrate to myself in 3 dimensions. That's it. That's reality, and that's like, as human beings, that's what we need. If I was to make a claim to you, you would expect some sort of practical reference. You wouldn't accept me showing you it on a telly.
Yeah.
So, but this is what I'm. I keep talking about this with people. It's like get people need to get their priorities sorted out, their faculties sorted out. Reality's first. TV is secondary.
Like I said, if the Earth was flat, I'm just using this term just because I'll say no globe. I understand you don't like the label. I get it. It's problematic. It'd be more exciting to me, to be perfectly honest. I just think ultimately, though, the problem is for me is that it's too big. It's just, at some point, some people sat down around a desk, and if they did dream up this idea, they had to think, we can't carry this on indefinitely.
Yeah.
So I know the point of your journey is you're trying to reveal this, and so millions of hundreds of thousands of other people, however many there are.
But to add to what you're saying, I thought about that because you would understand that they can't maintain it forever because people are going to start questioning eventually. And this for me is part of what I think is going on. I think they're trying to control and release this and where we're going to end up. That's just what I see happening. That's my experience of this. Also the point of it's just a bunch of guys that dreamed it up. I don't know about that either because again we don't know the true history of where we actually are and what we're a part of here. There could be a much bigger story going on here than we realise. It could also be the point that we may be enclosed in some way, that they found that, they discovered it, they panicked, they didn't know how we were going to deal with it, so they've come up with this. I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities that we can't just throw out. You have to be open to anything,
Sure, no, I can agree with that. And I think largely that's why a lot of people, they're all under the same train of thought that we are lied to, we are held things back, there are, whether or not the earth is falling apart, through plastic or whatever, it's all just stuff we're told to be controlled, all the rest of it. I completely understand all that.
Yeah.
There's a big leap for me from that to, all of those things can still be going on, and it's still being a globular Earth, if you see what I mean.
Aye, but all that stuff to me just reaffirms the finite aspect. That everything's finite and delicate and scary. That's what all that stuff does. It just reaffirms that, But who knows what the actual truth is, mate? I don't know. This is the whole point. Trying to maintain honesty at all times, and as you were saying earlier, make sure you don't have a belief. Make sure you're not influenced by a belief that's formulating a bias, and you go looking to reaffirm these things. People have to be cautious of that continually,
Yeah.
You see it happening in both sides of the false dichotomy, globe and flat. You see people in both sides, looking for bias and utilising these things to reaffirm a bias, and that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And I think we've shown, and many people have shown now, that there's justifiable questions that have to be addressed and looked at openly and honestly. But we're not seeing that. We're just seeing ridicule, shutdown, all the signs for me that there's a lie, they're trying to maintain some sort of lie. Because if it was true objectivity, then nobody would ever enter into the realms of propaganda, ridicule, all that stuff. There would be no reason to. You don't see, people that want to claim that the grass is purple. Who would feel the need to oppress that? It's obviously absurd. Yeah. Sorry, mate. I've got the wee shouting here. That's all right. Aye, so
I see a parallel, 15, 20 years ago when all the alien stuff started coming up and Area 51 was big and all of that. It's quite weird. It seems to have gone full circle now where it's like, okay, we're starting up with all that again, but it just seemed like it's a progression from one thing to another, what to occupy people's time in.
Yep.
And, you don't actually know where all just red herrings. I don't know. This is stuff that I know.
That's what I'm saying. If you look at the tapestry of control, it's everything's fine as long as your attention's distracted with aliens, 9/11, JFK, the fiat currency, the straw man, the legalese, the whatever. All these things are fine if you're distracted and constantly looking at that, because the majority of these things are out with your experience. They were in times and places that are gone by that you will never live or experience. All that seems to be fair game, but as soon as it comes to questioning the room that contains all these things, we've got an issue. But for me, that tapestry of control is to keep us from that, from questioning the room that we're within. So I see the whole game like that. And it's all about restricting your movement, and it's about controlling your attention, your psychology. So you have to ask the questions, why? If you're on a potato rock, a finite geometric sphere, and an infinite void, where would the need be for all these things? Because there's nowhere for you to go. They could just oppress you blatantly with guns and brute force. But it's a different game that's being played. So it all points to there's things to discover.
Okay, Del, I mean, I've said what I've got to say.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks for talking. I was worried that I was going to get... I know if people are polite to you, you're completely...
Exactly.
I've seen that over and over again.
Just
know that you've got someone watching you who doesn't... who's not a flat earther. Sorry to use the term. I know.
I'm not that either. I'm just a realist. I'm just asking questions. But that's the difference. There's a difference between just having a discussion and somebody coming with zealotry and antagonistic methods. That's where I have the contempt. So I show that continually, but people don't seem to understand that. So I appreciate it. And if you don't mind me, I mean, obviously you probably still maintain a globe belief. And you can partake, or you don't have to. But I like to needle at people's reasoning. So I'm curious to know your reasoning as to why you maintain the belief.
No, my reasoning is, and this whole term belief. I know there's a little sore point, and I'm not even going to say belief. Well, I will say belief because I can't prove it for myself. So let's get that out of the way. Fine.
Yeah.
It just seems too far. It's too big of a lie for me. I can't even imagine what would happen if they turned around tomorrow. Not because you understand that I'm like invested in it, right? That's not it. Like I said, if it was a flat Earth, I'd actually find it more exciting. Like, wow, okay, now what? But for me, I just can't even. If they just say, okay, we've been lied to, there's to be so many people to be held accountable throughout history. That is just sort of, and it's just too big. It's too big for me for it to.
What do you mean?
To be that way, I think.
What do you mean by history? How far back? How old are you?
I'm 38.
Right, so you only know, what, 30, 35 years of memory of your existence. So this, when people mention it, history, and they talk about these things 500, 2,000 years ago, what reference do anybody have for that?
Okay, no, we don't even have to go back that far. We can just talk about the last 100 years. There's still been nothing like that's been uncovered from one way to another, and what the ramifications would be. What could they be? It would just be huge, wouldn't it? I mean, it would be exciting. I would like it. This is what I've said, though. Yeah. It's not like I'm against it. I just think it's too big of a stretch to me. That's my reason. It's nothing else.
But you can see so many other things coming to the surface about things that they've lied about previously. That you could have said were massive. I mean, people are realising now with fiat currency, people are recognising the aspects of mind control in regards to the system and its structure through education, media, the use of NLP, how the human mind works and how it's been mapped out and how to affect it. These are things that are out with people's understanding, but it's going on. So you can look at any aspect of that and say, oh, it's too big, but it happens, and it's happening continually every single day. And it's not just coming from an invisible Illuminati government. It's ideas and practices that have been passed down through generations that become the norm, like the family unit, how the hierarchy structure works within the family unit. People are realising so many layers and complexities to the whole tapestry that we've been involved in. So there's so many of them that you could say, oh, it's too big. But that doesn't mean anything. Just because people don't, it was incredulity. Just because you don't understand or you don't know the full aspects of it, doesn't take away from it that it's actually happening, So, but obviously you say that you're honest enough to say it as a belief because you can't prove it yourself. You're just saying it because it's incredulous in regards to you don't understand why they would lie about it. So
It's not, I don't understand why they would lie, but I understand that the arguments for your sort of arguments why they would lie. But I do understand that. What I'm saying is, and that makes complete sense to me. I
yeah.
just think it's too big of a. No, wait. I mean, let me think what I'm going to say.
But I mean, if you've been paying attention, obviously you must have seen things that, we're talking about physics, things that are demonstrable that I can prove to you that you would struggle to deny. But when you apply these to these claims, they don't work. They break down. It's no there. There's no curvature. Water doesn't bend. You need containment for pressure. You need containment for a vacuum. You need separation between the two different systems. These can all be demonstrated and shown to be real world facts. So I struggle to understand how anybody, would ignore these things and turn their attention to, well, I don't understand why they would lie. But I mean, you're free, obviously. I just don't understand your reasoning.
Sure. So yeah, all of these discussions that you talk about, and that's part of the fun of it all.
Yeah.
I don't really want to get into these discussions because I've seen all the hang-ups that you've done with what was that group that's now split? What are they called? When you and Gab was on it, and they basically the non sequitur and all of that.
The non sequitur thing wasn't a discussion. The non sequitur thing was just me getting on there deliberately to tell them to fuck off. So, because as I say, when you see these groups creating a debate about objectivity, it's like it's not an idea, it's not an argument, it's not something to be won or lost through rhetorical devices. It's idiotic. It's like somebody says that the grass is purple. Let's go outside and see. The grass isn't purple; it's green. So there's no argument. There's no debate. So that's why I had the contempt for these types of things. As I say, at the time it was put to me that it was an honest discussion, pretty much like professed like how we're having a discussion right now. But it turns out that it wasn't that at all. So. But anyway, appreciate that. Appreciate you coming on.
Okay, thank you, Doc. That's all I want to say. It's no point. I just let me see how the rest of the evening pans out. Thanks for the discussion. Maybe I'll phone again, but it's unlikely, to be honest. But
no worries, man.
Unless I come, thanks very much.
If you can find something, you can always bring it to me and show me it.
Yeah, sure. I won't have anything because there's nothing. I can't add anything new to this whole discussion. I know that.
No
I'll just see what happens.
And do you think that it's there's enough to go that there should be an investigation into this?
Oh, absolutely. That would excite me to no end. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I'm after as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. There should be an investigation. Dale, one thing that's interesting to me actually, before I do go, I know the one thing you tend not to like, okay, is the and I don't want to speak for you, obviously. When obviously you don't like the traditional flat Earth map, blah blah blah, it annoys you, yada yada.
Yeah.
You obviously have to have in your mind, at least, even though you don't need to profess it to whoever, some kind of an idea as to what you think the map would look like. Correct?
Well, maps, I've seen maps. It's not the maps that are the issue to me. It's the perimeter. It's how far things reach. It's the areas that we can't go freely that are curious to me. And I really don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I'm curious about the sky. I'm curious about the luminaries, the sun, the moon, these things. But for me, they're just intangible phenomena. I can't get to them. So maybe, getting to the outer reaches would bring some light to it. We would get more clarity. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I wish.
To me, I was at Speakers Corners in London. I lived in London.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the names I don't know what they're called. I think I don't think you guys get on anymore. Not saying that you don't get on, but
just disagree.
Anyway, but they prescribe to the regular flat Earth map, and they had the discussion with me, the same discussion, Antarctic Treaty, pardon me. And then I was like, okay, well, on this map, if you've got if you are talking about this map and the fact that there's an Antarctic Treaty, you're attaining to the fact that they're actually stopping you in the in every single direction, that there is some kind of a block there, which must be pretty easy it must be pretty hard to patrol all of that area if it is such a, if it is a 360.
If it was that though, I think if I can look into a wee bit about what you're saying there, you're imagining people on foot. But we've got technologies, we've got radar, we've got other techs for tracking. It doesn't have to be human beings walking about marching with guns.
Drones or ships in terms of policing it, you mean?
You mean you can use radar technology. There's things dotted all about the place. You go and look at places like Tuktoyaktuk and they've got these elaborate radar systems and stuff away up there for whatever fucking reason. I mean, you don't have to have manpower there, like physically patrolling it like Buckingham Palace. You've got other methods, so...
Well, I mean, if I was an adventurous flat earther, sorry to use the term again,
yeah.
I mean, the way I would think about doing it is getting people together to, if they're going to charter a boat or a drone or whatever, and point out the direction from where they're starting to what direction they're heading. If it is a 360, if it is, for example, the traditional flat Earth map, then you would quickly go, okay, there's one that's gone in this direction from wherever it is, South America at northwest.
That would be true on the globe as well, because if you go south from any given point on the globe, you're going to hit Antarctica. So it doesn't really tell you anything, does it? If you're on a globe, if it was a globe and you headed south from any point on that globe, you're going to hit Antarctica.
All right. Well, so south then. Well, it wouldn't be south on the globe, would it? On the flat Earth map, because then you'd be going west in one sense, and you'd still be hitting the ice wall, right? The ice wall would be
because the circular model, the flat Earth model, is the North Pole in the centre, and south has gone away from that point in any direction, just like the globe. You start at the North Pole on the globe, and south is any direction away from that point, and if you continue, you're going to hit Antarctica. So
no, I think what I mean, Adele, is on the flat Earth map thing, the traditional map nonsense. There's a bigger, the Antarctica becomes a lot bigger, doesn't it? Because it encircles the whole map.
I think
it's a lot bigger.
Yeah, it'd have to be something like 60,000 miles or something like that. Something like that, I think. So
I'm not making a good point, but I didn't expect to. So, but yes, to me that map seems like it's an awful big area to. I understand it doesn't need to be guns. People with guns on a boat waiting for someone to turn up, and but it's just an awful big space, isn't it? On that map, on that particular map, which I know you don't subscribe to. So
I
won't hold you or anyone else to any such thing. So yeah.
No, any worries, mate. Well, appreciate it. Cheers for the chat.
Cool. Thank you, Dale. Take care.
Mate. Take care. Right, so where are we? What are we saying? Snow globe. Well, that's that again, individual perspective. It's people forget that we're further down the line of generations now, and a lot of these old skills of manual, travel are lost. People are dependent on, computers telling them what direction to go. And they just follow these set out, parameters, and that's what they work within, But if they realise that there's a possibility that there's things to discover, then I'm sure people would take the risks. But again, a couple of people and a band of merry men on one direction, it's just not enough. This is what I'm saying. We need the world investigating this. We need the human race asking the question, and people can say, "Oh, that's far-fetched," that what they like. But when you contemplate the situation that we're in, what other avenue is there to go if you're looking for clarity? If you're looking to resolve it and have an end to it, that's what's required. If no, it's just going to perpetually be, doubt and cynicism and scepticism, because how do we know that merry band of men told the truth, and we've just got one wee fraction and this, that and the other. It's not enough. We need fucking charge. far-fetched tale. Well, I'm only stating what has to be done in order to resolve it. You can call it far-fetched all you fucking like, but as I've said to people before, well, tell me something else. Go to the government and batter them to tell us the truth. How are you going to verify that what they've told you is the truth without the actual physical exploration? Again, you know, so it's like, that's the only way. But that's right, Andy Kaufman, exactly. No, but then it would be in that kind of dimension, Levi Foster. If it was an infinite plane, it would only be laterally. So then the sky would be infinite laterally as well. What about the depth? It would have to be infinite in every direction. You can't just have it infinite laterally. Do you know what I mean? So the sky's only got a finite depth to it. Well, what's beyond that then? Because it has to be somewhere. Again, as I was showing earlier, we're back to the doll within a doll scenario. It's... So maybe we are in some sort of isolation, you know, from that real reality, the eternal domain, you know, and this is where we are in this apparent separation from it. But it permeates the whole lot. We just don't know it yet. Well, no, people talk about ether, they talk about all these different concepts, but, you know, infinite expanse, well, it'd have to be infinite in depth as well then. Leave the whole lot out of the water. How have I missed here? When people talk about that, you know, money and logistics as well, as I keep saying, humans are the commodity. Humans are the economy. Humans are the builders of the planes, the boats, all the tech, everything that we have. We've got it all. It's nothing to buy, it's just a switch of attention and intent from human beings. That's all that's required. That's it. No money, no fucking lobbying and you know, getting committees together to make decisions and all that crap. We've got it all. If we wanted to go and explore every fucking region, all the tech, all the machinery, it's all there. It's built. Humans done it. No, we've only asked. We're no, fancy man, we're no the preferred celebrities because we're no part of the crew. We're no in the books. We're rogues. So we're unpredictable. We will not work within parameters of expectancy. So we don't get onto these places. We don't want Mr. Fuckety here in there fucking giving it the odds, you know. That's not acceptable. Not the right character. He's not in the books. He's no part of the crew. Right, what's happening here? Right, no requests, so it's fucking fun time. I'm just going to post a link directly into the chat box. If you want to join me, you just need to click it from there. Yeah, they want these characters, these passive morons that will play up to the dichotomy. You know, there's two opposing sides and it's never ending. You're not going to resolve anything by having two factions constantly warring at each other. As I said before, you don't sit in a room arguing with somebody infinitely about whether or not the grass outside's purple. You just fucking go and see. That's it. But what we're seeing is perpetuation of the two opposing factions. That's never going to end. None of them are aiming to resolving it. You can see it. It's obvious. Because it doesn't take a genius to contemplate the way I did to realise, well, the only way out of this, the only way for me as an individual to have clarity is for the whole thing to be explored. That means en masse. Every fucker involved. No restrictions about where we can go. Aye, Eddie Bravo's been here, spoke to us, that's right. But, and me and Gav went on to Eddie Bravo's podcast, but you're talking about Alex Jones or InfoWars or whatever. As I said, we don't fit the bill for these people. We cut straight to the point. Not that I'm saying David Wise didn't make relevant points, because he did, but hey ho. But none of that concerns me. I'm not really interested. Crashed the channel. Go figure. What happened? Upon theory. C.S. Lewis. As I've said before, Fancy Man, I'm always looking for discussions. I can't be bothered with, baiting and, antagonistic type characters. I more really want to discuss it with, intellectually honest people that are decent, like the guy that was on previously there. That's the kinds of discussions we should be having with people, Again, because somebody has a belief or whatever, it doesn't make me insecure. Because I need to be secure in what I know for myself, right? So I don't feel the need to change people, right? I don't set out going, right, I'm going to go to university, I'm going to convert 5 students a day. No. Again, it has to be subtler than that. Again, I'm needling their reasoning processes. I'm trying to open up a discussion about what they hold to be true and then laying out the reasons for why they hold it to be true. So that hopefully they can realise that it's not a justifiable reason. And that's it. That's my whole incentive, purely and simply. Plus, to offer up, people, show people a method for approaching it. Not that I'm perfect at it, by far from it. But it's better than running up to him and going, "You're fucking me lied to, and I'm here to save you, by the way, we live in a snow globe. Here's a picture." Hello, nice to see you in again, Dale. What do you think about music theory? Fuck the flat earth. If you have a channel that explains music theory in simple terms and makes it enjoyable, then that would be far more beneficial than the flat earth. There's millions of that, Skyfly Bride. Plus, why would I want to do that when I have so much fun watching monkeys like you dancing? Eh? How about you go and get me 2 million squids, and I might shut up about it for a wee while. Go and get me 2 million quid. So I can buy a nice big fucking motorhome and travel about the place freely. Go and get me one of them, Bry. Then I might shut up for a wee while. Maybe. I'm going to shut. Don't click the link that I've put in previously because somebody says it crashed instantly or something. So I'll just start another one up. Let's see. But how absurd is this thing that we call living life? Do you just think it's an absolute fucking absurd fucking thing that's going on? Why there is actually something and it's not just nothing? You're a being, you're existing, you're having experience. What's that about? Came from nowhere. Came from nothing, no thing. Dale can't shut up. He has his ego to massage.
Hey Del.
Hello.
Hey, Siri.
How's
Siri
it going?
Okachi.
How you doing, bud?
How you doing?
I'm alright, mate. Long
You
time no
good?
see. Aye.
You great?
Aye. Aye, I'm great.
Fantastic.
Aye. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I guess,
Aye.
the best.
Good as you can be in the
Aye.
situation.
Just alive, I guess, being human, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Being in this life. I
Yeah.
don't know. I woke up this morning, so
Aye. It's funny you say
here
that.
I am again.
I seen a translation. I think somebody put a translation. Sorry, just on a wee point here. Somebody put out a translation of, Adam in Hebrew means man, but they never put up what Eve meant. So I went and had a wee look to try and find the translation of Eve in Hebrew, and it was coming up with something like farm or farmyard or something like that. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, it just came to mind when you said the word human there. I don't know if anybody has a translation of Hebrew and what Eve actually means.
Eve, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What was it you said? It was a
Adam,
description of a garden?
Aye, but apparently Adam, the translation of that in Hebrew means man.
Yeah.
And Eve was the translation that I found was coming up with like farmyard or something like that. I can't remember the specifics. But
It wasn't orchid.
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 Is that what was coming up? Is that what you know it to be then?
No, all I know is that Adam is in Hebrew is the first man, and he got the spiritual, knowledge from God directly.
Right.
I don't know, just say Hebrew is the language of God, whatever God is,
Yeah.
Before we can establish anything, we need to know what we are talking about when we say God.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's not exactly a man somewhere that is stalking you all day.
Exactly.
Watching your every move.
Using a limited vocabulary to try and define the unknowable. It's absurd,
And it immediately what comes into mind first, of course, because we are programmed that way, is this old dude with a beard,
Yeah.
It's the first thing that comes to mind. But like you said before, there's a lot of people looking into ether and stuff.
Yeah.
And they are saying that ether is the mold, so to speak, that holds this reality.
Yeah.
Like if you look at plants and everything and how they grow, the Fibonacci, that's like the mold, And if you look at scripture and stuff, they always say, cleave a tree and you will find me inside, the structures. So
that's it.
it could well be the ether,
Exactly.
So I was thinking about that and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So if this is a realm, like a reality, and the ether is making up this reality, the structure is holding it all up, that could mean that there is a border to it if this stops,
Yeah.
So if the air stops, then like your experience when you had as a child, the outer body experience. You were outside of yourself, but you were still yourself.
Exactly.
But you were looking at it. So
exactly.
That to me proves, that there's more than you being this body.
That's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the infinite, the eternal, out with us within a a kind of pod, and it gave rise to the whole shebang. And I thought about that exactly as you say, mate. That because I started thinking, how when people lose a limb, and they'll say sometimes they get the sensation. They get the sensation sometimes that it's still there, and it's almost
phantom pain.
Well, what if the ether, created that mold that dictated that form, that shape, and although the material's not there, the coding or the energy is still maintaining that form, but it's you just don't have the matter anymore. Do you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like in cymatics, if you put the stand on, you have the frequency.
Exactly.
But what shows actually the stripes and the geometric forms,
Yeah.
what shows is the rest form.
Yeah.
It's the negative form. So everything that's dark is actually the mold.
Exactly.
And it's very interesting. And same thing with magnetism, huh? If you look at the ferrocell, it makes visible the not the field, but the structure that it's holding.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's quite interesting. And if you think in these terms, then maybe this is a realm, you know?
So I thought about that, you know, in regards to you know, being done through some sort of frequency modulation, and I pointed that out when I was looking at the Old Testament, the Book of Genesis, when it says in the beginning was the Word. So what was that referencing? Yeah. Was it the
frequency,
the vibrational component that molds things and gives them their structure? You know. So I have thought about these things.
Could very well be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Dal.
Who's this?
I'm just someone else like joined before, but I didn't want to like stop you guys from talking. I just wanted to say something about that. There's like sonoluminescence and everything. It's definitely everything made with sound.
Mm-hmm. Well, we say sound, but I don't know about sound or you know, just frequency.
Like,
yeah.
I personally don't see an edge the way like this. Like, if you had a loop of music and you didn't know where the musician started, you wouldn't know where the beginning or the end was. And I don't think there's an edge to this realm that we're debating.
So
I think that when you go, I think it just.
So it would
it's like, I mean, the simplest way to put it is like Pac-Man, but I mean, that's just a really stupid way of saying it. But yeah, the way Pac-Man goes to the edge and just appears at the other edge.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to see the edge, in my opinion. But I mean, that's just my opinion.
That's fair enough to postulate that, mate, you know, because we don't know. You know, like in a Mobius strip, like an infinite type a loop that you'll never get beyond it. That's it. You know, because
that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I just personally also think, like, I have a lot of globe head beliefs, but I'm completely a flat earth, obviously. But yeah, I feel like if there was a giant ice wall, it would be known about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's also one of my things. But yeah.
Yeah, it could just be, you know, the north and the south could just be oscillation points, you know.
Also about the north and the south, like if you have a compass and you have the north part of the compass, that's seeking a south pole. So already you're misinformed about, I mean, everyone is, and so was I, but the North Pole is actually the South Pole, and the South Pole is actually the North Pole.
What if there is no pole?
No, there definitely is. It's just if you. That's how magnets work. You can Google how magnets work, and they'll tell you. They'll tell you that the South Pole is actually a North Pole magnetism. And that's why there's your south part of the compass is seeking it, because that's.
Yeah, but now you're talking about two different things.
No, it's just if you have a compass. No, this is just because you started talking about the North and South Pole. This was something I wanted to tell Dal, which is. You can just type in how do compasses actually work, and they'll explain that it's the reverse of truth. Most things are the reverse of truth that they teach you these days, anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really interested.
No, but just if you get a magnet, if you get a magnet, and there's a north part of the magnet, that's going to be seeking the South Pole, isn't it? So wherever the north part of your compass is pointing, that's actually pointing at the South Pole.
It could be either or,
but I don't think there's any poles in that way that we get brought up to think, you know.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little thing that points somewhere.
Yeah.
If you put a magnet next to it, there's a North Pole right there, you know. So what is a pole? If you're talking about a pole, define that, you know. Is it somewhere, you know? Does it have a place somewhere in reality? What is it? You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. I define that first.
I personally think it's like, well, it depends. Like, I personally think there are portals, like kind of like the Bermuda Triangle, but different because it's a lot different. But
the Bermuda Triangle for me was just a fucking cover story because it's the area
where the rockets go.
They're ditching the rockets, and if you were there and you seen something you shouldn't have, you disappeared to another dimension. You know, so everybody's surrounded by this propaganda of fucking, it's a big mystery, you know, they sunk the fuckers. I mean, simple. But
it's just where they dump the rockets.
What's that?
That's why they make up stuff, you know. That's where the rockets go, you know.
I haven't actually looked into the Bermuda Triangle that much since like I was a globe head anyway. That was just I just know that there's a lot of people that have gone to the North Pole, and depending on like honestly your own frequency, I would say you're gonna have different experiences. And there are people that have gone there and said that it's like literally paradise there. But I mean, it's whatever you guys want to believe, really. At the end of the day,
Captain Bird or whatever his name is.
There's a lot of proof that shows the center of the Earth being paradise and like where the original Garden of Eden was.
Well, I don't know if that's proof, man. If you read it somewhere,
every culture, you can look at every culture. They'll show you on their like original maps of the universe.
Well, what do we know about that history? You know, they're telling us.
Exactly.
How do you know?
Well, let me just
made it
interject.
up 20 years ago, and you didn't even know about it.
Let me interject because it's exactly that. We need to find out. You know, we can theorise and postulate all sorts. So for me, it's a waste of my energy and my time to continually go round in circles about what might be there, what might not be there. Exactly. We actually need to find out. You know, but I was, Sadie, I want to get back because I enjoy the kind of discussions, about the ether and the possibilities of what's actually going on. I've always asked that question: what defines things? What's given things their form and their shape? Because they'll say it happens internally, and it's happening from the internal point outwards. But what if it is the reverse of that? It's this unseen that dictates the form. That's where that's coming from,
Yeah, that's really where I'm coming to, because the physical is only possible like that.
Yeah,
it has to be in something. You know? And once you lose that, then maybe you can, experience a bit of that infinity. Maybe when we go to sleep at night, when we go into dreams, when our body is at rest.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a little bit more freedom to experience that,
Exactly.
Maybe just
and just as I was saying, when you're in that state, if we take that as a possibility, you don't think in terms of memory, attachments, meaning. You just kind of move and drift from one obscure scenario to the next, and you never correlate the two or try and rationalise them or any of these things. It just seems normal and. I'm just drift from one to the next and that's it.
Exactly. Like in a dream, right?
Aye.
Like in a dream, everything unfolds, It's like your imagination makes something new and then you don't think about where you are or whatever. You just accept what is there and
exactly.
Maybe I just have the feeling that really is, if they talk about infinity, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And if you look at old philosophies like Kabbalah and Hermeticism, they always talk about this, being mental, something mental, the universe being mental, the all being mental, and we're connected to it, so we're kind of an individual expression of that.
Yeah.
But then again, I think, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We have to eat other animals to survive.
Yeah.
It's just a really cruel concept to me,
Yeah. Same here.
You are just eating your animals, by the way. They put fetuses in like most of the food that has natural flavoring or artificial flavoring in. You can literally look it up.
But I'm just talking about the fact that we need to eat other animals to survive.
You don't have to eat other animals. I mean, I've been.
Yes, you do. If you don't eat any animal products or animals, you're gonna die.
Well, it's
I'm pretty fine. Like, my girlfriend's been eating a vegan for 10, 20, 10, 20 years.
It's still the consumption.
And she looks better than anyone. So,
but it is the process of consuming the energy. It's just the transfer of energy and the constant process of that. That's what it is in any shape or form. Whether it's an animal or a fucking plant, it's the same thing. It's this finite, sustainability where something has to consume something else to perpetuate it. That's the absurdity that I find with it, I'm the same as you.
Exactly what my sentiment.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
It's just the fact that we have to, you know. Why can't we just enjoy this, you know?
Right.
Why can't this just be an enjoyable experience?
Well, that's it.
So that we can get out of this mind, this infinity, and look at it, you know.
Yeah. But
And look at it from another dimension.
I think we could only look at that, you know, some area of it, because I don't think we could see the infinite, because then it would be finite. You could. I don't think you'll ever get to the full spectrum, or the full picture. But maybe this is just an area of the possibility of experience. It's just, you know, this is just what it is.
I don't think there's anything else, you know. There's only this attention, this mind, this focus, you know, this desire, maybe you can call it, you know, or some people call it love, you know, that it's a force that if you desire something, you know, you move to it, maybe, you know, you try to move it, you know, like an emotion or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's pretty much what makes up reality for me. And if you look at the Earth, I don't think it's a round thing with the eyes going around it, you know, because it's the same concept as a ball. It's just a flat ball.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly.
I think it's something way weirder than we think, because I think that's what they're hiding, really. You know, why they're hiding it. Maybe they're in the ice, you know, at the Antarctic. Maybe they're over there to distract us from going to the other side. Maybe that's where the acts lie.
Or as people keep leaving out, people keep leaving out aspects as well of the oceans. What about Dunaway? You know, it's always across, up, you know, we've got down, we've got areas under the water. I mean, there could be all sorts going on. I mean, look at us, I pointed this out before, you look at the NASA suits, they look like pressure suits for going underwater.
Underwater.
Do you know what I mean? So
And Buzz Aldrin has been a professional scuba diver all his life.
Yeah.
He had a program, and he's putting that back on TV now.
Well, also,
that should...
yeah. They look like going underwater, because that's also a part of like the oldest cult they're a part of, which is like they worship this fish god called Dagon, and it's this Egyptian god. And even like the Vatican, that's why they have those weird hats. Like if you actually look, you'll see fish eyes on either side of the hat, and it's literally a fish head, and that's what they used to wear.
Is that not the mythology? Is that not the mythology of the demiurge, and that we're under some ocean, and the fish people came out of the sea, and all this kind of stuff, that there's gods out there, but they don't know we exist? Is that not that story?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what they worship.
No, right, okay.
Like,
I think it came out of Spiritism.
It's basically like the biggest...
Aleister Crowley, these people, you know. It was this thing called Spiritism. And that's where they got all the science fiction from. That's where, you know, Scientology came from. That's where the whole heliocentric. And all these people are still doing it, you know. Yeah. It's still the same thing. They think they're in contact with interdimensional beings, and it's crazy stuff, really.
Yeah.
It's really crazy stuff. They made us believe that it's true, you know.
Aye. This is it. This is the whole point. We have to be able to pinpoint and realise where ideas and reality become separate, you know, because we can entertain ideas and concepts of, you know, interdimensions and, you know, the infinite, the eternal, all these things, but right now they're of no use to us, and you know, but it's still interesting for me to talk about it, because
of course.
And many people can relate.
You're going to think about it anyway.
Of course, you know, because we're experiencing something finite here. We know it's going to come to an end. So obviously we're going to have these questions, and the majority of people ask the questions. You know, what's going to happen? What's going to, you know, so.
But it really seems to me like lately they're really pushing this snow globe model. You know.
Yeah.
Like maybe they want us to settle on it, you know, like okay, we're satisfied, that's it, you know.
Exactly.
And we can have endless debates about this model, because it's exactly like the ball.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah. You know, we're enclosed, we can't get out. Okay, well, as you say, it's no different from being isolated on the sphere. You know, what happens is...
It's just a business now, like that whole AE map is just a business. Like, even if you showed them that it's not that, it's like, it's too late. They've already printed the t-shirt. They're going to stick with it.
Yeah.
So
But that's
Yeah.
it. That's what we're saying about the paradigm, controlling the release, maintaining the level of mindset so that we move into a new era. And as you say, it's just the same. We're restricted. We need rulers, we need rules, we need a structure, yada yada,
These elites really think that we need guidance,
Yeah.
They really think that. It's their reality.
Well, everybody's heard the Obama statement when he says that the common man and woman are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. I mean, these people are fucking telling you, and you can look at it and say, but he's right, because, no willfully through the people, but because of the lack of tools being there for them. I spoke about the trivium, the quadrivium, the liberal arts, teachings. People are now being, offered the tools to free them, to make them think properly and to be healthy and free. So in this state we're in right now, of course, you can look at it and say it's dysfunctional. So they have the attitude, well, people are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. And people want it, look at it, well, Brexit, this party, that party, I need somebody to make it all better for me. That's the mindset.
Yeah, they just have mummy and daddy issues. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's insecurity. Yeah.
And then there's the whole thing that... how we treat our children,
I mean,
how we treat our children, and how we treat our...
Sorry, they're not your children. You're the parents. You're the pair who rent. And as soon as you stop renting them, they go back to the government. Like, they don't even belong to you. It's so much worse than people see.
Well, that's the whole straw man, the corporate entity, and how people need to understand what they've agreed to in regards to registrations and representing this straw man entity. That's an avenue that people need to understand as well. But, again, I'm going to speak about this in regards to the homeschooling. Here in the UK, the government, it's invitational, vaccines, going to the schools, yada, yada. Here we still have the ability to take responsibility for our own children, So I'll speak about that when I'm presenting it for the homeschooling channel, I'll forget what I was
looking forward to
going to make the point, yeah. So like that you're saying about the renting of the children, it's the corporate entity, and people are identifying with it, and even here, it tells you property of the crown, you don't use it for identification, but people don't, they use it, they register that name, and then they pursue it and they follow through with identifying as that entity,
Yeah. Exactly.
But the process to remove yourself entirely for that takes a lot of commitment, and you have to have the logistical capabilities to sustain yourself, to totally remove yourself from it, which is not available to everybody, and not everybody can achieve it, So it's kind of difficult.
What to me, it's like it's always been about world domination. So they're going to keep the knowledge and destroy everything, like they did in the town of Mithra in Iran and everything, the ISIS. They always take the good stuff out, like the books, they go to the Vatican, in the cellar.
Yeah.
And then, they tell people anything. They tell people a story, and if people buy into it, then they have power.
Exactly.
That's the structure of it.
Exactly.
If I can convince you of something that doesn't exist and you're going to believe in it, you're going to be outside of your own mind.
Yep. That's it.
And that's it.
And then they can offer you products.
That's the trick.
Exactly.
That's the trick.
That's exactly it, mate. It's just manufacturing your consent, putting your attention, and you buy into them, the ideas, the concepts. Yeah. And once you've bought into them, you become predictable. You then become a commodity for their industry and whatever else,
Exactly. They know exactly what you think if they implanted the thought in your mind.
Exactly, and that's what I keep coming back to about things like the trivium, the mapping of the mind and understanding, language and how it's utilised on you. These are the
NLP.
tools. These are the tools to break you away from that, and that's where the real freedom is. The straw man stuff, the attachments to the physical, the real freedom's here. Once you get that and you understand that you're in control of the input, what you take on board and what you apply yourself to, then that's it. It's game over for any charlatan, any salesman.
Exactly.
You
program yourself.
Exactly.
You're your own authority.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
And that's what true anarchy.
They do not want.
Exactly. That's why
you start thinking for yourself. It's everywhere. Like my girlfriend's a psychologist. She works in a university. Same thing. She has a couple of professors above her. that form a canon, you know, and they decide.
Yeah.
They decide if you get up, you know, they decide, and it's these three old men, you know.
Exactly.
It's just crazy.
Are they
What kind of reality is this, you know?
That's it. They dictate the protocols, the structure, and how you have to follow it. And that's it. And you can see the job that they've done on the use of the word anarchy. Again, you know, you say that to people and look at the amount of misunderstanding and imagery that people have in their mind about what that actually is. You know?
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, these things, these words, they all get corrupted this way.
Yeah.
They put different meanings in your mind, you know? So
yeah, that's actually why I came on this call, is because I heard you talking about human. Literally, human being in Ballantyne's Law Dictionary means sea monster, and like you can't inherit any land, and just literally
lost at sea,
spiritually dead, lost at sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys don't want to be lost at sea anymore, you should spill your blood over in your intent.
Oh, you believe that shit?
No, you don't want to be lost at sea. It's metaphorical. It's like you're lost at sea within your own mind. So,
exactly.
So you don't need to spill blood
or
any of that stuff.
You believe in a fantasy.
Exactly. You just need to understand what you've taken on board, what you've applied your belief in your investments in, remove your attention from it, and then you're free from it. Cutting your wrists and fucking putting on a bit of paper, that's shortcuts.
It's nothing like that. If you want to deny something like this, that's fine, but it's like denying like a volcano spewing out lava and then
I'm not denying it. Look, I'm not denying. Listen,
that's how life. I get you don't want to believe it. That's
no.
fine.
Listen, let me speak. Don't just make assumptions on what I'm saying and actually listen to what I'm saying. So I don't believe it or any of that stuff. That's just my perception of it. So if you want to tell me that by me spilling my blood achieves something, then you present it to me and what actually happens. That's your claim. It's not mine.
Exactly.
So
I heard about this a little bit. You're going to go to the North Pole then, huh?
No, let's clarify because let's clarify this here because there was assertions made and presumptions made. So spilling blood over intent, what does it achieve? What's it about?
That would be like explaining flat Earth in one sentence.
So if it's no simple and you can't just define it for me and give me a practical reference of something that I can apply myself, I'm going to dismiss it as nonsense. So that's your fault. So if you want to articulate it to me and it's something that you think's true.
Okay, well, in one like blood cell, you can fill up like 600 books that are 1,000 pages long of information. So you use that and you're coding yourself. It's the same way if you've seen those people who like look at water and they have really good intentions on water, it changes the structure of how it's frozen. You've probably seen that.
Right, so what I was saying earlier about understanding the processes internally of your mind, you're doing that work there. So let me finish. What I see is what you're talking about is a shortcut. You don't have to do the work internally. You can just spill some blood and cant some fairy dust.
I can promise you, I haven't taken any shortcuts.
Shortcuts to thinking, that'll mean.
That's what I mean.
I haven't taken any shortcuts because either way.
For me, this whole process is about understanding your application to the biological machine, the brain, and how it functions, and taking control and responsibility for that. You know, for me, that's about internal work and reflection and contemplation. It's not about me going, I read this book that says spill my blood and say fucking Hail Mary 59 times, and then it's revealed to me the truth of my existence or something. I mean, I don't understand. So you need to clarify exactly what you mean.
I did clarify before. That's the best way I can clarify is you've seen what water happens to water when you freeze it with good intentions.
Right.
So when you're intending to bring forth heaven on earth and you're putting your blood, which is thicker than water.
But this is what I'm saying. Hang on, because when you're saying about the water, it's about your intent, which is what I'm talking about me internally. If I want a change to happen in the world, that's my intent. So where does the bit about my blood play a part? What do I need to do with that when I can have it internally?
It's publicly. Everything's done publicly. That's how they take everything from you, is because it's publicly. They hammer it on the well outside the church and then you pay taxes the rest of your life. Everything is done publicly. That's why you have to do blood over intent, because it's
But you're being vague. I'm looking for a specific example of me that I can try myself. So give me a format of an application of blood over intent that I can practice to see if it works.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry?
Give me a reference of a practicality, something that I can apply in regards to this blood over intent. So is there a certain method that I've got to do? I mean, what are you talking about? Is it like... my intent is to have a Ferrari, so if I write it on a bit of paper...
No, if you do anything that's not selfless, you're just becoming the same as the Illuminati, and you're just going to become like a monster. Like, you have to do selflessly, otherwise that's the same as what they do. They just do... But the Illuminati, they just do blood magic against you. Like, when you were born, they put your blood on a certificate that says you're a slave, and that's in the Vatican. So this stuff's already been done against you. I'm just saying, if you want to do it for the benefit of all, and not leave it as what it already is.
So if we look at me, a seed, acorn, yada yada. When I started this process, I put myself out there with an intent, and I went about being me and offering up what I had to offer up, and things happened and things progressed. I never once had to spill blood for any of that, so I'm still...
Okay, I'm just gonna, before I answer your question, I'm just gonna say, it's personally changed me, and I've seen things that it just now I really see everything. You're literally in hell right now. You guys have no idea. That's why you say hello. You have a double helix.
Sorry. See this pomposity of like you've got this vantage point that us mere idiots don't see because you've done something special. I don't like that.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I can see the difference in my own view of how I used to see and how I see now. And I'm just being honest, it has changed what I've seen. So, maybe it's just because I've been in that circle and there's more.
Yeah, but this is what I was going to say.
I'm going to be real.
So do you think that do you think there's an aspect of a placebo where you have invested yourself into it and there's a sort of placebo effect where you get a return through the practices that you've partaken in because you've invested a level of belief in it? Or do you think that it's an objective? If you're going to claim to me that it's an objective, tangible. If it's an objective, aspect, this is what I'm asking you. Give me a small example of where I can spill blood over intent or whatever and I can see some sort of result.
It's like saying, I mean, there's not technology to actually, it's like saying, can you see your aura if you like?
No, listen to what I'm saying. You've told me that you've went through a process where you've had results. So I'm asking you, can you share that process that you've done with a particular specific of a result that I can then apply to see if it actually works?
Just do it. And
do what? I'm asking you, do what? This is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get clarification. Do what exactly?
Okay, so you write down on a piece of paper, I intend to bring forth heaven on earth, because right now it's fucking hell, obviously. You don't write that bit, you just say, I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all, and release everyone from bondage, and then you put your blood on that, and now your intent is aligned with just the thing for the benefit of everyone.
But my intent was to make a difference and make change without spilling any blood, and I've kind of achieved that and made things happen. So I'm still not getting any clarification. And what you're saying is that it's a result that we might find out later in the future. Is there anything that happens kind of quicker? It could invoke something that I would see a quicker result on.
Yeah, this is like, honestly, if a globe had said, can you just show me like a 5-minute video?
No, I'm not saying I got you. I'm trying to understand what it is you're offering. That's it. Listen, let's just move on because we're just going to go around in circles with this. Skyfly Bry. Oh, fuck, it's even better now.
Get the fuck down. This guy's talking more bollocks than you talk.
You're Scottish.
We don't know where we live.
You're Scottish as pish. You're Scottish as pish. If you get anything intelligent to offer or what? If you get anything intelligent to say, Bry, you just hear to show you.
Don't listen to this fucking idiot.
Are you just here to Bry, you're the biggest idiot clown jester
that's... Don't talk over me, Dow. I'm talking.
Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. Right, instantly. Suddy, you're welcome to join because I'm just going to shut us down because this piece of shit's just an annoyance.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I'll come on to stop this.
Absolute creepy weirdo. Skyfly Bry, you're no welcome. I don't want to hear from you, you mad stalker. I'm starting to get concerned. I know who you are. I know your identity. We've seen you crashing your wee electrolyte or whatever the fuck it is because you're too incompetent. I'm going to have to file a report with the police because I'm concerned for my children, my family, because you're just not taking the hint, son. You're no wanted. You're antagonising. I'm a bit concerned. Somebody has to pay you a visit to see if you're of stable mind. Right, because I think you're a danger to the public now. Because you don't listen, you don't know the social boundaries, you're no wanted, I'm not interested in anything you've got to say, stop messaging me, stop coming to my hangouts, we don't want you here. Take heed, son. Fuck me, man. It's all fair game if I was coming and harassing you, but I'm not that type of guy. Just go away. Beginning to think you're a very dangerous man to the public. You don't understand the social boundaries. No means no. Okay, you've not seen the adverts. It's not like no means secretly yes because you're a twisted, narcissistic, sociopathic dick sniffer. With a delusional, warped sense of reality. No means no. N-O spells no. Go away.
Yeah, that guy got triggered pretty hard. That was pretty funny.
Nellis as well, how are you doing?
I can hear me?
Can hear you fine, mate.
Ah, good. Yeah, so I'll get straight to the point. I've been listening to you speaking about having an experience here, and maybe, when you die, you go to a different experience.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble seeing the point.
That's because you're looking for a point.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to point at the last time. People are trying to transcend the experience by placing meaning. So like a tapestry of sewing one experience to the next experience and giving it an overall meaning. As I said before, this is the problem. If you're dealing with eternity, the infinite, you're looking for meaning, which means it's like an insecurity where you're needing certainty. That for me is a psychological, aspect that people have to look at about why they're looking for that certainty. What's the necessity for it? And if you could have the certainty, what are you trying to build, moving from experience to experience? Do you think you're going to get to an end of it? Do you think you're going to be able to define your soul's experience of eternity? Because you can't ever get to the end of it. So why would you need to sew one to the other, and each one transcends and progresses meaning into the next one? That doesn't work for me. I don't understand that.
Well, it doesn't add up for me either. I don't understand the whole concept of something having meaning, but I also don't understand the other side where you go from experience to experience. Because
do you not see that in the micro, like in your life here? You just move from one moment to the next to experiencing what you experience from one moment to the next, living in the now.
Yeah.
So how is it any different? But the problem here is that we've got a physicality of memory, and here within this realm, memory is useful because you need to remember not to walk out in front of the traffic or you're going to get fucking hit. You need to remember not to breathe the water in or step into the fire because it's useful here as part of the physicality. But as you as an entity of an experiencer, an observer, I don't know what the necessity would be for that. Unless you're moving into another reality that's just the same as this, and you can carry the memory over so that you don't have to learn it again. I mean, I don't know.
No, I don't hope so.
but as we were talking about with Siddy, I mean, look at it in a dream sense. The same applies there. You move from one abstract, obscure experience to the next. You don't ever in that moment think, oh, what's the relevance to this from the last experience that I just had, and trying to, grasp at certainty within it. It seems natural and kind of normal just to flow.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because of this situation we're in, we're projecting. onto that with expectancy and that it would somehow be the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
when I look at my children, but when I look at my children before they've adopted that reasoning process or the necessity to reason, they show it. They just move from one extreme to the other, freely, and just go from that to that to that. As I say, in the summertime, my 2-year-old, he would just randomly pick a spot in the grass and go to sleep. And then he would just get up and he'll go over there and have a piss, and then he'll go over there and he'll pick that up, and then he'll go here. I mean, he's not trying to sew everything together as, a relevance to each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I would love to live that way, but to me it feels like I'm right now trapped in that feeling that if there's no point, then what's the fucking point? If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is all compasses point to the Holy Grail, but only the real will get it. Otherwise, you're trapped in the
sorry,
energy cycle.
only the what? The real. Again, that's a wee bit pompous, a wee bit of hubris there.
I mean, if it's the truth, then
if being the main point.
Yeah, I know, but if it is and it is real, then the real would get it because it's the truth and it's real. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm. But that's it, Nellis. Again, it's the meaning thing again. And if you play that out, if we're talking about the infinite and the eternal, it's like if you try and project that expectancy to that, you're trying to refine the infinite and the eternal to some finite, nugget that you can know and hold in your hand and say, there, it's there. And then what if you achieve that? What would be the purpose? Nickel, you need to drop out. Nicholas, or whoever it is, you need to drop out. You're making a horrible buzz. I'm shutting that down. So before I open the next one up, if you can hold it, if it's infinite and eternal and you can hold it in your hand to know it and understand it, what's the point of that? And again, think about this, if you were in that state and you could know the entirety of being, what are you going to do with that? Nothing. It's no use to you. You need it fragmented so you can just move through it as in sections and experience it for what it is. Makes sense to me. Time we on. Right, get another bash. What advice would I give to my younger self? Don't take anything seriously. Laugh at everything. Don't get stressed about anything. There's no point. Aye, believe nothing is another one beyond belief.
I don't know.
How you doing, mate? He's alright. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No, it's a shame that.
Did you get the same thing like somebody is fucking with speakers?
Aye, that was a horrible buzz, a horrible noise.
Yeah.
It's my new fan.
Aye, sure. Yeah, getting back to what we were saying, Nellis, for me that's it. It's like when you look at these things, meaning, purpose, they kind of fall into the realms of certainty. And then again, when we're dealing with the infinite and eternal, why would you be messing about with certainty, trying to grasp at certainty in that postulate? Because it's an impossibility. So therefore, you can see why there's no use to it.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, and I have come to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe there's something maybe stuck in me that is like, well, if it's just about the experience, then Maybe it's because that right now the experience that I'm having is so fucking shitty that I'm like, okay, why would I continue with this experience, and is it going to get any better? Because honestly, I've never had a part in my life where I was really enjoying myself. And if you don't know the potential of how good something can feel, then yeah, it kind of makes sense why you start to question, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? Is it gonna get any better? You know, is there anything else? Maybe, and that else might be something better. You know, and on and on and on you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
But I think
Maybe.
there's comfort in it for me that it's no eternal. This experience here is no an eternity. It's a blip.
Right.
You know, and I've got curiosity. You know, I was the same as you, mate. You know, childhood, and it became, you know, not having the ability to express properly. You know, the emotional and psychological baggage, and you know, it descended into depressions and all sorts of, you know, different things. But the curiosity is what always drove me forward to figure things out, to resolve them, to just, you know, experience it, to understand it, and then move on. You know. And I think that's it. It's like, you know, although you're saying that, something within you is still driving you. It's like, you know, I listened to that guy, Jerry, he mentioned it, and he was talking about rehab, just as a wee side note. It's kind of relevant to it. And he's talking about how he spent £100,000 in a month, and he was there for 2 months in rehab. And within an hour of leaving, he was back drinking again. Because what he was saying is, when you're ready to do something, you don't need these trinkets, you don't need these things, you just do them. You know, so it's like you're saying, well, why would I want to go? And well, if you were really at that point, you would have ended it. But there's something in you that's curious, that's you know, that wants to keep going. You want to find out more. You've still got things you want to discover and figure.
Yes,
obviously,
absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
So
yeah, I totally get it.
And plus, you know, I don't know if you're the same as me. You judge these things on, you know, expectancy. You know, why am I not living in a castle? Why do I not have 15 Lamborghinis? Why do I not have a pool with fucking beautiful women in it? Why do I not have this rock star lifestyle? And, you know, if we set these goals up for ourselves and then they're unattainable to the vast majority, then you're going to feel that feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I resolved it. I resolved it because what the experience for me that was really fruitful was, you know, waking up with nothing, you know, living outside, having nowhere to go, then getting, you know, somewhere secure, but I had no furniture, I had no food, I had, you know, learning to live with myself and realising what was really important. And what was really important to me was to be at ease with me, was to, you know, eradicate the baggage that I'd held, you know, emotionally, psychologically, and to wake up every day being at ease with myself, no stress. That was it for me, you know. That's the pot of gold as far as I'm concerned. The rest of it, the rest of it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I get it. If you are born into a very poor family and you want 10 million quid after a year, you're gonna be disappointed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think
I get that.
There's so many ideas and concepts that we've been born into as part of this cult that fuels emotions of expectancy, being let down, depression. You know, there's loads of these things that I call baggage. But what I have to trace back is where I bought into them. It was me. I placed relevance upon them. And they're no fruitful because a lot of them are false. They're no healthy for me. Do you know what I mean? So,
Or they feel empty.
Yeah.
Well, they're not fueling you, they're draining you.
Exactly. That's it. Because what does fuel me, as I say, being at ease with myself, you know, being comfortable with me, getting up every morning with no expectancy and just, you know, that's it, the simplicity. You know?
Have you dealt with waking up and feeling like you're wasting something? You're
yeah.
That's really where I am right now. It's
I still get that, mate, and I can relate to it totally. You know, I still have moments of that. Oh, I should be doing this because I need to secure this for the future and this, that and the other. But, I'll ask you the same question. Imagine right now that you were born on a desert island and that's where you grew up. Would you be experiencing that?
No.
Exactly.
No,
so,
you like, you cannot know what you don't know.
Exactly. So it's the culture, it's the circumstance that you've been born into that's
Right.
dictated, where you should go, what success means, and all these things, But as I say, well, if you were born in a tribe or you were born on a desert island, these things wouldn't be fueling, they wouldn't be driving you. You wouldn't be feeling that feeling like you have to do something. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
So
yeah.
That's the difficult part. It's, we're always projecting from the circumstance that we find ourselves in. But if you can remove yourself of that reference frame and look at it a bit differently, you'll see how paper thin these things are.
Right. Yeah, and to continue the point about I'm still here. Apparently there is something driving me still, and otherwise I would have committed suicide by now.
Yeah.
Which is honestly not something I have never contemplated.
Exactly. Same here.
Yeah, obviously there's something, and I can think of a few things that are driving me, or at least that something that I'm looking for, an experience that I'm looking for, and that I have some reason have a very defined. I wouldn't call it a memory, but it's a certain experience that I'm looking for that I, for some reason, somehow have a very clear definition of, but it's not an experience I have experienced in this life. So it's really, I don't really understand it yet, but that's the experience, or that's at least something that's driving me, because to me that's what I want to do here.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything else.
See, that's it. It's like circuit. Look at social media. I've experienced people, kids growing up, and I've watched them get anxious, and a lot of these things are influences as well, where people get the perception that everybody else is living this fulfilling life. And places like Facebook and stuff like that are a real contributor to that. Everybody knows it. You've got these catalogue poses, these images of look how windswept and interesting I am, my image of holiday, my image of my new car, my image of this. So people are seeing these things and they feel like a lack, which starts to create a kind of emotional void, a kind of anxiousness in them. And people start, clambering because they feel like, well, my life's not satisfying because I've not attained these things. But a lot of these are false. The majority of these people are no living fulfillment. That it's, as I say, it's just projections of plastic nonsense,
Yeah, so you mean like you see a Porsche or somebody, what about a Porsche?
But I want the Porsche for the thrill of driving it. I don't want I don't want the Porsche as a status symbol or to make me feel like I'm somebody or anything like that. That's different. That's ego based. So there's different reasons for why I want a Porsche, because I just want the thrill of driving the fucking thing. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's about recognising your intent and your drive as to why you want to attain these things. And that's the difference between, the egotist that wants it as a stature to have over other people and whatever else, Whereas for like maybe you and myself, it's just for the thrill, the joy of the experience. That's purely it,
Yeah, if I had the money to rent a Porsche, I would do it. I would just rent it. But mate, I'm the blast same. Around the track.
I'm the exact same, mate. I feel that every now and again. I go, oh, bastard, I want that camper van so I can travel to the tropics, and I want that fucking motorbike, and I want that fucking Ferrari, and I want that short and that Formula One motor, and I want to fly a fucking fighter jet, and I want it all. Do you know what I mean? But I can't fucking get it on. It's annoying me.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't want to own a fucking Porsche, because they tend to break these days, after 2 years they get clutch problems or whatever.
No, I do want the Porsche, but as I say, I don't want it for the reasons of stature or ego. I just want it so I can go out at night time and fucking put it sideways, run a runabout. I mean,
You're such a hero now.
What?
You're such a hero.
How? What do you mean?
No, I'm just making a joke.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but I get it. Yeah, I would like to fly a fighter jet just for the fun of it.
Exactly.
That would be fun.
Exactly. But I don't want to put it on Facebook so I can give everybody the impression that I'm better than them or more fulfilled.
Oh, no,
you know, but that's the problem that we have, and people are reading these things, and then anxiety and jealousy takes hold, and you know, it just becomes a whole fucking destructive process. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely noticed those patterns. You know, people post romanticized versions of their lives on Facebook, and then all these people that read it or see it, and they have maybe an even more romanticized idea of that picture in their heads, and then they think, "Oh, I need to get that." But it's like when you play with a cat, you know, you have a laser on the wall, and the cat just goes after the fucking laser, and it never ends, you know.
Exactly. But there's the very same turn I want the guy in the desert island as well. We fuck all coconut trees and fucking fish. You know, I mean, it's.
But I would love that. My life would be so simple.
That's what I'm saying, mate. You know, as I say, put yourself in that picture, and you realise quickly the relevance of all these things, and how you're the one that places the anxiety on them. You know, for whatever reason. You know, so. All right, but listen, guys, it's been a pleasure. Been great chats this evening. I'm going to go off and get the dog out, get some food, and chill out. So.
All right.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you know.
No, no worries.
We've got plenty of time. We can do this again. You know.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers, guys.
Hey.
Bye.
Aye. Stay single, get a marriage, whatever. They're all ideas. It's whatever you tell yourself. You set the goals for whatever impulsive reason about why you're chasing what you're chasing, and you make all the rules up. But the trick for me is not to attach and solidify the things as if they've got an intrinsic meaning. You know, understand why you want them and pursue it for that, and then move on. Simple. I mean, that's in your nature anyway. You see it as a child. A child isn't attached to things. It's like, I want a toy, I want a toy, I want a toy. I've got a toy, I've wrecked it. Now I want something else. Right, appreciated everybody in the chat, people watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye now.